Hi there, I'm Moriah, owner and creative director of Moriah Riona Branding, a full-service branding studio for creative female entrepreneurs. Welcome to my video series where I share my favorite business and branding tips to help you take your business to the next level. Today, I'll be sharing 3 tips to help you make sure that your clients are respecting your time and that they're not walking all over you. So let's get started. Tip number 1 is to always take control of the client experience. I see a lot of new entrepreneurs, but also seasoned pros who are giving up control of the situation to their clients, not even realizing that they're doing it. One example I saw recently was a wedding photographer who had requested a timeline from the bride. When she got it back, it was less than ideal. It was going to make her job a lot harder. The times that she wanted to do portraits, it was going to be the wrong sun angle, all of these issues. So even though she had mentioned these facts to the bride before getting the timeline back, the bride didn't know. She's not the expert. The photographer is the expert. So one way I dealt with this in my own business when I was a wedding photographer was to invite my clients to a meeting about 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding day. We would sit down and create the timeline together. That way, I'm showing up as the expert and I'm taking control of the situation, but it's a collaborative experience and their voices are being heard. So when they're suggesting things like portraits at high noon, when we all know that the sun is going to be casting these awful shadows, I was able to speak up and say, hey, that's not the best option, let's try this instead. So that's one way that you can take control of the client situation. Think of times in your business where you're losing control of your client experience and reel it back in by becoming the expert. My second tip is to always set clear expectations from the very beginning of your client experience. One way that I do this in my business is by sending out a client welcome email as soon as they've booked. So they get this email and it's got a whole list. It's a very long email, by the way. It's got a whole list of my office policies, things they can expect from me, and in turn, things that I expect from them, including their client homework. This has helped me out a lot because as a working mom, I have a little toddler and I want to make sure that my time with him is focused on him. So I take Thursdays off and I also don't work on the weekends. I tell my clients that, I list my office hours, and I tell them, if you send me an email and you send it during my office hours, you can expect a reply within this time. If you send it in my days off, it's going to be a different reply time. I also tell them, email is always the best way to reach me, but you can call or text, but please respect my time with my family by only calling or texting during my office hours. Because I've set this expectation up from the very beginning, I never have issues with clients texting me on my day off or emailing me at 10 o'clock at night and expecting a reply right away. So think of ways in your own client experience how you can set the expectation from the very beginning so everybody's on the same page. My third and final tip is to always send your client a reminder. When I first started my wedding photography business almost 10 years ago, I had a few no-shows to the initial client consultation and it just drove me nuts. I thought, how rude. I put so much time and effort into preparing for those meetings. I couldn't believe that somebody would no-show and then I just wouldn't hear from them again. Then I quickly realized that as a small business owner, that initial consultation is so much more important to you than it ever is to the client. To you, it's a potential new client, it's a potential new project for something you're really passionate about, and it's new income. For them, they're probably interviewing multiple people who offer your same services. So, the thing is, they're also really busy. Everybody's busy. I'm busy. I try to get all of my appointments into my calendar, and even sometimes I let things fall through the cracks. But I'm always really grateful when a doctor's office or my hair salon calls me and reminds me about an upcoming appointment. So I started doing this for my clients. I send them an email reminder 24 hours before our meeting. And I tell them, hey, we've got our meeting tomorrow, just a reminder, it's at this time, at this place. And then I always finish with, if you need to cancel or reschedule for any reason, please let me know ASAP. I have never had an issue with a no-show since I've been sending those reminders. And I've occasionally had a client that will email me back and say, oh my goodness, I forgot, I'm so sorry, can we reschedule? And it's not a problem, we take care of it. So the way I deal with this in my business is I use my client management software. I use Dubsado. And I have a template email set up already. That's my email reminder. And as soon as the client and I have confirmed the meeting, the first thing I do is I put it into my calendar. And the very next thing I do is I go into Dubsado and I create the reminder email and I just schedule it to be the day before, to go out the day before the meeting. Otherwise, I'll forget. If you don't have client management software, you can use the Boomerang app for Gmail, and it's just a plugin for your Gmail, and it allows you to schedule meetings ahead of time. So the little caveat to this that I will share is that as soon as you start doing this in your business, you need to always do it, because the one time you forget to send a client reminder email, that's the time they're gonna no-show on you, because they're gonna get used to this. To recap, my top 3 tips for making sure that your clients are respecting your time and not walking all over you are: number 1, make sure that you take control of the situation. You want to be the expert in your client's experience. Number 2, set clear expectations at the beginning of any client experience. I do this in my welcome email. You can also do it in your pricing guide, or you can do it on your website. And my third tip is to make sure that you're always sending reminder emails for any client meeting that you have. If this video was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, share with any of your other creative friends. And you can check out my free workbook, The Brand Blueprint. I've linked it down below. It'll help you take your brand to the next level. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. That you are taking control. Okay, I'm gonna explore that I don't know what this video is about.
What was the first one? You said
take control of the situation.
Take control of the situation.
Take control of the situation.
You're not taking control.
I know. I'm a hot mess. Okay.